Okay, starting with important ports of India. Now over here you can see the map of India, not the entire one because we don't need the land portion. This is the coastline of India. Over here one line has been drawn. If you look at it closely you will see. Now this line that is bisecting is because we are dividing Indian ports into eastern and western. So the Indian ports are divided into eastern coast ports and western coastal ports. Some names of ports are given. Why they are given? Because you will need them even while you do map. This is the Kolkata city as well as an important port. This is Visakhapatnam. This is Chennai. Three main important ports that are there in your syllabus for the map. And on the western side, that is the left side, you have two main ports, Kochi and Mumbai. Now, each of the ports, it has been divided into two groups. Western, you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ports. And eastern side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ports. Okay. Now, each of the ports, they have their special feature, which you need to remember because you may get questions asking the name of the port and giving just the special feature of it. For example, Mumbai, India's biggest and most busy port. And sometimes it is called Gateway of Western India. So remember this point. Kandla is in Gujarat. It is a tidal port on Gulf of Kutch. Okay, this portion. Jawaharlal Nehru Port. Earlier, its name was Nav Sheva. Now it has been called, or it is called Jawaharlal Nehru Port. Most ultra-modern port. It has a lot of facilities, a lot of mechanisms. Why this port was constructed? To reduce pressure on Mumbai port. Mumbai port was handling too much of traffic. Okay, that is why Jawaharlal Nehru Port was constructed. Kochi is a natural port, okay, in Kerala. Marmagao is in Goa, the most important port of Goa, and from here, India's maximum iron ore gets exported, which is written over here, you can see very well. And New Mangalore, which is a port in Karnataka. So these are your western coast ports. Coming to the eastern side, very important, Kolkata. Now, Kolkata is a riverine port. You can see in the map over here. Kolkata is not in the coast. Why? Because Kolkata's port is on River Hooghly. That is why it is called a riverine port. On River Hooghly. We all have seen River Hooghly. Whenever we cross the Bali Bridge, whenever we cross the Howrah Bridge, the river that we see, that is Hooghly, which is a distributary of Ganga. And Kolkata port is called Gateway of Eastern India. Next we come to Chennai. Chennai over here. Oldest artificial harbour. That is the special point about it. Then we come to Haldia. Haldia has been constructed to reduce pressure on Kolkata port, just as Jawaharlal Nehru Port was constructed to reduce pressure on Mumbai port. And Kolkata is at the confluence. Confluence means meeting point. You will come across these words too many times later on. Confluence of two rivers, River Haldi and River Hooghly, the same river. Then we have Visakhapatnam, deepest landlocked port, surrounded by land apart from the coastal area. All its surrounding region is a landlocked, and that is the deepest port. Paradip is in Odisha. Tuticorin is in Tamil Nadu. Ennore, another port in Tamil Nadu, to reduce pressure on Chennai port. Now, one point that you will have to do, which is a very common question in ICSE, why peninsular rivers are not suitable for inland waterways. They are, or rather there are 3 points for that. First point, they are non-perennial. Peninsular rivers are seasonal. They dry up in the dry season. You cannot have regular waterways navigability in such rivers. They have a number of rapids and cataracts, too many waterfalls in their course. Waterfalls are always a tremendously risky affair whenever they are used for waterways. And the rivers are swift flowing. They flow very fast. So for these three reasons, peninsular rivers are not suitable for inland waterways within the country. Importance of transport. Over here, point number 1, transports are used, different means of transport are used for obtaining raw materials from different parts of India, okay, to the factories. Second point, distributing the finished products, the raw materials that were brought from different places, they are changed into finished products and they have to be distributed. So distributing the finished products to the markets. They improve the economy of the country. Naturally, all trade depends upon transport. Next point, it facilitates cultural interaction and maintains unity in the country. The world has become very small. The country also has become very small, well connected to each other. Last point, helps in export and import. Transport is very important for export and import purpose. Without transport, the country cannot export, neither can they import. Now, your chapter of transport is this, nothing more, nothing less. Your assignment is to prepare a chart. Now, the chart has to have 3 columns as the model is shown over here. Mode of transport, column number 1. Advantages of that particular mode of transport and disadvantages of that particular mode of transport. So if you go through the 2 weeks video, you will get to understand what you need to write and what you need to study. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, then please use the comment section in the YouTube. The questions and the queries will be answered, and please keep your comments relevant, connected to the portion taught. Thank you.